Welcome to the Binge, the podcast where nothing is off limits and everything is fair game. Here, we dive into whatever sparks curiosity, fascinates the mind, or just makes life a little more interesting. No topic too big, too small, or too strange. From the mysteries of the universe to the quirks of everyday life, from the deeply profound to the absurdly trivial. This is the place to explore it all. Sit back, keep an open mind, and let's binge on whatever captures your attention next.
It's the Binge Podcast where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast. Come join us fast.
All right, so if you're looking for a neat detective story, go read a goddamn thriller. This isn't one of those. This is a story about wealth, power, and human laziness, about how a rich, entitled asshole named Jeffrey Epstein ran a decades-long con on the world while hiding the absolute worst kind of abuse behind cocktails, private jets, and refrigerators full of grape soda. And yes, we'll get to the jerky. The Epstein files, court documents, flight logs, deposition transcripts, and contact lists are not a tidy story. They are fragments, weird little snapshots, and sometimes just absurd details that, taken together, paint a picture of a man who literally gamed society. He surrounded himself with people who could make him look legit. Presidents, prime ministers, hedge fund managers, famous lawyers, and fashion people who should have known better. The files don't outright convict any of them, except Epstein and a handful of his convicted associates, but they do show a world where access was currency, and everyone else was too polite, scared, or stupid to challenge it. Take the flight logs. Epstein's private jets were basically social GPS for the elite. You'll find Bill Clinton flying to the Virgin Islands, Donald Trump listed in contact books and photos, Prince Andrew named in civil litigation by Virginia Griefer, and Alan Dershowitz popping up repeatedly in depositions. The flights themselves don't prove anyone did shit wrong, but they show a fucking unnerving level of proximity. If access were a superpower, Epstein was God tier. Then there are the contact lists and address books, basically his little black book of human leverage. Names like Les Wexner, financier and early Epstein patron. Glenn Dubin, Ehud Barak, who visited Epstein's New York townhouse, and Jean-Luc Brunel, later charged in France and dead in custody, all pop up over and over. These aren't accusations. They're evidence of how the son of a bitch managed to make himself untouchable. By sheer audacity, charm, and the strategic sprinkling of rich, famous people around him, Epstein created the ultimate social camouflage. And oh, the depositions. This is where the files get genuinely fucked up. Sworn statements describe systematic recruitment under the guise of work, normalizing abuse, coaching victims on how to act around powerful people, and stripping them of autonomy. And then, in the middle of all that, there are notes about beef jerky and grape soda in refrigerators for guests. Yeah, you heard that right. Someone literally documented snacks in court filings. The human brain wants to shrug this off as trivial, but in context, it's horrifying. These snacks were part of the curated normalcy, the casual veneer that made a house where abuse happened feel like just a weird rich kid's party. Naturally, the internet went batshit. Fringe conspiracy theories now exist claiming that jerky was code for infants and implying Epstein was involved in atrocities that are completely unproven. There's zero evidence of this. None. Nada. But the fact that people latched onto it tells you just how freaked out and disoriented the world feels when faced with this level of moral and social fuckery. Could it be true? Possibly, but no proof. The properties themselves, like St. James, the New York townhouse, the Palm Beach mansion, the New Mexico ranch, were meticulously managed, with staff told not to question anything. Grape soda, jerky, Casual charm and polite smiles all served to hide the fucked up core of these homes. Comfort was part of the control. Affluence was a shield. In the courts, mostly paperwork, redactions, and legal maneuvering that allowed Epstein and his associates to keep operating under the radar for decades. The files don't tell us everything, that's for sure. They don't tell us the full story of who knew what and when, but they do give us names, flight logs, minor absurdities, and a trail of social breadcrumbs showing how access equals protection in the wrong hands. They show repeated institutional failure, deference to wealth, and the banal little touches, jerky, grape soda, polite smiles, that kept the house of horrors looking like a normal house. And at the end of the day, the Epstein files are a hall of mirrors. They don't provide narrative closure. They don't convict anyone besides Epstein and a handful of associates. What they do show is how a cunning, rich, and predatory man can exploit networks of privilege and human politeness, creating an environment where abuse continues unchecked. Every flight log, every name, every odd little note about snacks adds up to a vision of systemic fuckery that is terrifying precisely because it's grounded in the ordinary. Reading the Epstein files is a lesson in absurdity, failure, and social engineering. And maybe a warning too. A world that tolerates small moral compromises can quickly become a place where the extraordinary abuse goes unnoticed, hidden behind the comfort of quote-unquote grape soda and quote-unquote beef jerky and the polite smiles of people too wealthy or influential to care. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe.
Tune in right now. Got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Right now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Tune in right now. Stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.